Hi everyone, this is Gary Berman, host of the Cyber Hero Adventure Show, coming to you from sunny Boca Raton, Florida, at the Citizens for National Security meeting, where we had an amazing opportunity to listen and learn from retired Admiral Mark Montgomery about the geopolitical aspects of what's happening in this world. And I have a very special guest, Kenneth Abramowitz. This is your organization in part. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about your mission?
Well, Citizens for National Security is known as CFNS by its initials, and we have a couple hundred members. We're a grassroots organization based in Boca Raton, and we try to educate people about national security issues, both over there and here, because the bad guys are over there and here. So we try to help people get a full picture of the challenges, and we have 5 speakers a year in the winter months to help educate all of us.
Indeed, and before we were speaking earlier, you told me about this very interesting perspective you have described in the book, The Multi-Front War. Maybe you can share with our audience a little bit about your perspective and the different kinds of geopolitical threats that you see.
Yes, well, about 10 years ago, let me just step back. After 9/11, we all had different reactions. My reaction was to try to understand what's going on. As an individual citizen, not as a job, no one asked me. Right. And I worked 6 days a week, so I devoted 1 day a week to national security. And I did that for about 10 years until finally I thought I knew enough to start talking about it. And then I started writing papers and handing them out to people, and then the papers got longer, and then I said, oh, I have to write a book. And about 3 years ago, I finally published a book called The Multi-Front War. I realized America has 100 different challenges, and I thought that I would characterize the 100 challenges and come up with 100 solutions.
Wow.
For the 100 challenges.
I mean, that's very unique. Most people, or many people who are in this kind of space, are able to point out problems, but not so much with solutions. Maybe you can share a little bit about the lens, like how would you prioritize all these various threats and issues by criminals?
That's right. Yeah, basically democracies, which are theoretically rules-based countries, based on the rule of law, are under attack by dictatorships. Dictatorships I call criminal organizations. Half of the people in the world live in a dictatorship, half live in a democracy, and the dictatorships have declared war on democracies. So I call that World War III. It's actually World War I. It's been going on since the beginning of human beings.
Indeed.
But since somebody already numbered World War I and II, I call it World War III. So I try to understand how dictatorships work, understand how democracies work, and try to understand how democracies can do a better job protecting themselves, because democracies play defense 100% of the time and dictatorships play offense 100% of the time. And I'm not I like watching football and other sports, and each team plays offense roughly 50% and defense 50%. So my conclusion, you can't say it's so profound, I just want the democracies to behave like a football team.
Indeed.
And play 50-50 instead of 100-0.
That's a really good analogy. And so one of the things that we'll show our audience is you have 7 sectors of this complex problem that you divided into.
Right.
The one that we're
7 forms of warfare.
Excuse me.
Physical or kinetic war, chemical, biological, cultural. We fight with words. I hate you and you hate me. And then number 4 would be economic, dollars. Number 5, lawyers or lawfare. Number 6, demographics. And number 7, cyber. So I monitor these 7 forms of warfare. Whereas if you walk on the street and say, Mr. Pedestrian, define war for me, they'd say, oh, things like blow up. I saw a John Wayne movie.
Exactly.
Okay, that's one form of warfare, but I monitor all 6.
Indeed, and one of the things that I think was especially interesting to our audience as well is one of the domains focusing on cybersecurity. Admiral Mark Montgomery was a keynote speaker, at the event here. What's your assessment of the risk in the kind of the digital universe?
Well, if we look at kinetic warfare, you have to spend a lot of money to train a lot of pilots to blow up a lot of things, or missiles. Cyber, I mean, there's people going like this all the time, and nothing blows up, but just something stops working. So cyber is a cheap way to fight a kinetic war. And particularly for people who can't challenge us with our kinetic abilities, cyber is a wonderful capability to hurt us without blowing us up.
Indeed. So as we're wrapping up, on behalf of a grateful digital universe, thanks for who you are and for what you do and for why you do it. And how can our audience get more information about your organization?
Well, I have two websites. They're like brother-sister organizations: Citizens for National Security, CHNvCISO.us, and my sister organization, Save the West, SaveTheWest.com. And people should sign up for both of them. I write articles, particularly on Save the West, on every 2 weeks, on these challenges that the 100 challenges that I monitor. And every 2 weeks, I pick another challenge to characterize the extent of the overall challenges that we face from the dictatorships.
On a personal note, when do you sleep?
Well, I work 6 days a week. I always have worked 6 days a week. I now devote 3 days a week for work. I'm an analyst, a business analyst in the healthcare field and investor. And then I'm a business analyst in national security, but that I do as a public service. So I have an expression about myself. I try to make more money during the 3 days that I work in healthcare than I lose during my 3 days in public service.
Oh, well, all right, what a privilege. And to our audience, stay tuned for more from the Cyber Hero Adventures Show.